say that don't like them, but I see you all the time. Bitches, you say that don't like them, but I see you all the time. Bitches, you say that don't like them, but I see you all the time. Bitches, you say that don't like them, but I see you all the time. Bitches, you say that.
Welcome back to my rookie interviews. And I have with me Mr. Kingston Ellington. I don't know why I always have issues with saying your last name. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Glad to be here with you.
I'm glad to have you. And Kingston is actually the wide receiver for Salt Lake City Rustlers. So y'all had a pretty amazing season, man.
We did. We had a great season. We got into the playoffs, kind of backed into the playoffs, and it's something that we really didn't think we was going to accomplish, but some things fell our way, and we was able to be in the playoffs. So, I'm proud of what we did as a team this season.
Beautiful. So since this is your first time on my show, I want to we all want to get to know you. So give me your name if you feel comfortable, your name and your age and your hometown, a few interesting facts about yourself and your favorite NFL team.
I'm Dennis. I am 42. I'm from Milledgeville, Georgia. That's a smaller town in Georgia.
Hey, I know where Milledgeville is.
You know where Milledgeville is? Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's where I'm from. An interesting fact about me is that I've been doing simulating games on my own for a very long time. It's something I've enjoyed doing since I was a kid. So when I came across the SFL, I was like, wow, like there's actually other people who do the same thing that I do, but they're doing it all together in one league. I was blown away. So I first came across the SFL and I want to say 2018, and I was just a fan, just watching every video I could. Actually, I seen a couple of your games where you was kind of throwing them picks, but we're not gonna worry about that though. We're not gonna worry. But no, I went back and I watched like a lot of games, and I was hooked. I just, this year with the COVID and everything, it just allowed me enough time to get really enjoying you guys, and I've been having a great time.
Oh, fantastic, man. Yeah. Sometimes I tell somebody else I forget my glasses, man. I like throwing the ball. Sometimes the wrong person gets it,
It happens. Like sometimes I forget to bring my hands to the game and I drop some passes. So it
You got oil on your hands, just slip.
oil on my hands, right? It can happen. It can.
Oh, man. So did you ever play sports?
I've tried to play sports in high school. I tried to play sports, but I have a health condition. I have sickle cell. So that actually kept me from playing sports like I wanted to. I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of compensated for that by being involved in like simulating things, so I could see myself in the form of a player do all the things I would wish I could do in real life. And so I mean, but I'm good. I'm not in a bad way. I'm positive. I'm happy. I'm having a good life. So I mean, I'm just happy to be part of this. But no, I didn't play like any sports to a great degree beyond like, trying like middle school and just a little bit of high school, but my body just wouldn't hold up to take me through a season.
Yeah, I understand. I had family members that had sickle cell, and it can take a toll. So
It can.
No, my brother. How did you? Well, you kind of answered this question, kind of, with how you found the SFL.
Okay.
What was the first game that you actually remember watching, and how did it make you feel?
I know it was the Storm. The Storm, and Ron Cochran, was calling him the Riverboat Gambler or something. And I was like watching that game, and it was like the legendary Ron Cochran steps up and he makes a pass, and I just saw it and I was like, wow, like who is Ron Cochran? I was like this guy seemed to be this legendary gunslinger of a guy that the commentators was describing within the game, and it just drew me in. I was like, these are guys, and when I researched it more, and I found out that these are like your everyday people who just have their players in the game, it just blown me away, because really I was a Ron Cochran fan just from that little statement that the riverboat gambler is about to throw again, and it just was like, and it's just seeing different things, seeing Steven Tasker, how he had like an incredible game one game, just seemed like he couldn't miss anything, and he took the ball all the way to the end zone every time he caught it. And it's just watching different players and just how they seem bigger than they seem like on par with the NFL players about how they was presented. And it just was something that was really intriguing to me, and I was hooked. From that moment on.
Fantastic, man. So you are currently a wide receiver.
I am.
Would you like to explore, if you're not taken as a wide receiver, is there another secondary position that you'd be interested in playing?
I mean, right? Well, actually, through watching the games this season, I really enjoyed things on the defensive side of the ball, like linebacker, secondary, anything in the secondary. And I also wouldn't mind switching to tight end. Or, if someone just decided to give me the quarterback position like they did for someone else, I would gladly take that. But but really and truly, I'm just I know for sure I probably wouldn't want to be a kicker or an O-lineman or something like that. I mean, the team really needed me, I'd consider it, but I like to be able to see how my stats accumulate. That's something that I enjoy very much. So but I'm flexible.
Okay, that's good to know. It's good to keep an open mind. And if you watch my shows, you know that I was the wide receiver. I was supposed to be a wide receiver at the time.
Right.
So you never know. Maybe you get picked up at something that you be like, you know what, this is dope, I'm gonna stay here. Get it.
Right.
Do you plan on getting involved with the NFL? I mean, NFL, jeez. In the SFL and any other aspect? Like, do you want to beat write? Do you want to maybe broadcast or anything?
Broadcasting. That would probably be something I would consider doing. I've done it before in some other capacities. And I think when I'm comfortable enough, I think I could be pretty good at that potentially.
So when you said you did Sims, were you running all pro or were you doing something?
Oh man, I've done NBA 2K Sims, had my brother, my cousins, used to have a little league, made all their little players and they would come watch the games. I've done pro wrestling Sims from the time I was like, I want to say 13, 14, just way back in the day when, on Sega Genesis games on so I'm stating my age, but way back in the day. So I've been doing like simulations, be it pro wrestling, be it basketball, be it football, be it baseball, be it hockey. Like every sports game I've ever purchased, one of the first things I do is develop, just make my few customized characters and then just see how they do throughout the season. So that's something I've always done.
Fantastic, man. Who knows, if you can get your hands on an all pro, you can do some scouting for some teams. That'd be enough.
I mean, I would love to do it. I would love to do it. I had 2K5, I think, but I just when all pro came out, I think I was like, I just was in transition right then, and I didn't get that game. I wish I had got it though, because I would really be really into doing the scouting. And if I could come across a copy, that's something I would be open to doing.
Yeah, because you already have the knowledge on what to do. So,
well, I'm open to it, definitely.
So, what are your expectations from the team that may select you?
Well, I just want a team. If I get selected, I'd be honored to get selected. First of all, it'd be a privilege to play for any other cool, crazy organizations that's in the SFL. I think the one thing that I would want is just a team that's committed to being a unit that has a great locker room. We encourage each other. We comfort each other when things aren't going well. Cheer for each other when we see our teammates make accomplishments. And whether we lose or we win, we keep a sort of even keel. We stay positive. We just enjoy the fact that we're in this together. I think that's the main thing. As far as I guess that would be it at this point. You know, that pretty much would be. I don't have any wins or loses or whatever type of team I end up with. The main thing is that we all know this is going to be a journey. You know, if it's a team that's just starting out or if it's a team that has had some years in this league, it's a journey every season. Every season is different. I've researched some teams that strung together 3 championships and then they struggled or they was middle of the pack for a couple of years. So it's crazy seeing how things fluctuate and shifts. This is such an interesting league. So I think wherever you end up, you could potentially have a great season. So for me, just to be part of a family, just to be part of that type of atmosphere, that's all I'm asking for.
That's not too much to ask. So what values will you bring to someone's team?
Well, I think you're looking at a guy that will be active. I will be a person that will socialize, will be around. I will be a person that won't cause drama. You know, if I can't be positive, I'm not going to really say too much. I feel like I'm a person that's easy to get along with. Also, you're going to have someone that's very active in his progressions and could take whatever type of direction that the staff is giving me. I'm going to follow that. I'm going to build my player and progress my player in a way that benefits the team. I think that's very important. You're looking for someone, and you're looking at someone that's just here to have fun. And also, one other thing I'm going to bring to the table is you're looking at a person that already has a passion for this. Like, this type of simulation sports isn't new to me. It's something that I've been very passionate about since I was like a kid. So you're looking at someone who will be around for the long haul. I'm not going to be a flash in the pan. I'm so glad I found you guys, and I'm going to be here for as long as I possibly can.
And that is something that is very important that owners and GMs do consider when they are making their selections.
Right.
It's important for us to know that you're going to be there, and you're not going to be the type that's going to hop around, even though there's nothing wrong if you're not happy where you are, going somewhere else, or you just want to explore the aspects of the league. But
right.
It is also important for the team building aspect when you're trying to build that championship team, like the Florida Storms and the Tallahassee Lights and Atlanta, all of them. You want to try to maintain your people. So yeah, I think I definitely agree with you on that. Tell me, who was responsible for your progression in Salt Lake? Was it you? Did you work hand in hand with your coaches?
Oh, 100% hand in hand with my coaches. I mean, guys like Mike Twins Crew. He's been like absolutely positive presence for me. He's a great guy. Twin is a great guy. Also, the coaching staff. I mean, Ross and Mike, and just everyone there that's been checking in on us and guiding us. So I just trusted those guys, and the way Kingston performed, I don't regret trusting them at all, because it's like they pretty much, I mean, for me, I just was smiling the whole season, like seeing the plays that I was the catches I was coming down with, and the stats I was putting up. I mean, that's not what it's all about, but it does make you smile, when you're performing. So, I mean, I had a great time in those regards. Those guys are terrific, and any I would say any players that's coming into the minor league, if you get with the Salt Lake City Rustlers, you're in great hands. That staff is amazing.
Good stuff. And last question for you. So, how do you handle trash talk and adversity? So, I know it's everything's all peaches and cream when you're winning, but when you're losing, and you have people just right here talking about how bad you are, or how much your team is not performing, how do you handle that?
Well, I'm more of a team spirit guy. You know, as far as trash talking, I mean, it can be fun for some people, but I would rather be a president that's just lifting my team up. I am very capable of talking trash, but I mean, for me, it's sort of out of your hands. So in a sense, when you can't control your own destiny, you talk a lot of trash, you could end up eating a whole lot of crow, because you know what I'm saying? Because it's not in your hands. So to prevent all of that, I just try to be a great sportsmanship type guy. Say good luck to both of the teams. Yeah, I take a little pride when, you know, our team is doing well, but as far as just talking trash to the other team, I'm the type that'll cheer on my team versus talking down to the other team.
Good. And that's important too. That's really important, because if you're trying to be a leader on your team or things like that, people do what their leader does or what their leader allows. So I think that's
right,
man. Well,
thank you.
Before I let you go, you have any questions for me?
Yes, I have a question for you, and I just wanted to know, like, how did it feel? Like, how did your husband and how did he feel when you went from wide receiver to quarterback? Like, how was that moment? Like, when that happened for you, like, what did he say? I know you said on your other interview that he was like, you need to go for it, but was it an exciting for both of you collectively together when that opportunity came your way?
Yes, it was. When I finally told him that I would be taken as a quarterback, he was very excited. Probably a little bit more excited than I was, because I was like, I'm not sure. My thing was I wasn't sure, because I know quarterbacks, if you win the game, yay. If you lose the game, if you throw interceptions, they're gonna blame you. And so I was like, am I really ready for that? And he was like, yeah, you are. As much adversity and stuff that you go through, you know, at times, this is easy. And so I was like, all right. So I went ahead and did it. And again, that was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And I'm glad Dion, I'm always going to be grateful to Dion for giving me that chance, because he didn't have to.
Right. Oh, that's just beautiful, Noah. And I can tell you, as far as you're holding it well, you know, being the first female quarterback in the league, and you're holding it up very well.
I appreciate that coming from Kingston. You know, when I get my interception ratio down, you know, then we'll be good to go. But
I mean, you know,
you can't, like you were saying, you can't. There are certain things you cannot prepare for. There are certain things that it's not up to you.
Right.
So you just take it in stride. But thank you for being on the show. But I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that could be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. Right now, the floor is yours.
La. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Baylee Oshannessy songs, so you can too.
No, I'm joking. I like to just thank all of my guys with the Rustlers. I mean, we had a great season. You guys are super. I enjoy being a part of the team, and I wish you all like the best careers that you could possibly have in the SFL going forward. Thank you guys for being part of my experience here. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say.
Phenomenal. And as I tell every rookie, and actually everybody, if you want to come back on the show, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm here. I do like to follow the rookies on their journeys throughout the league. So once you get drafted, when you're playing throughout the league, come back and visit. Let us know how everything is working out for you. We're glad to have you.
All right, sure will. Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Welcome back to my rookie interviews.
My next guest is Mr. Jason France. He is the tight end for the Memphis River Runners, the one I have to slow down every time I say. How you doing, Jason?
Good, Ashley. You?
I'm doing pretty good. Have you ever tried to say River Runners 3 times fast?
I haven't, no.
Okay, well, when you get a chance, try. Then you see what I'm talking about.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, dear. Well, this is your first time on the show, and I want to welcome you. And I want to ask, so give us an overview of who you are. So that is your name, your age, hometown, some interesting facts, and your favorite NFL team.
All right. Well, my name actually is Jason France. I am 42 out of the Omaha, Nebraska area. I work in the IT field. I've got too many hobbies for any one individual person to take on at one time, realistically. And my favorite NFL team would be the Denver Broncos.
Okay, not bad. What are some of your hobbies that you say you have too many of?
Oh, I enjoy a lot of maker type hobbies. So most recently, I've gotten into 3D printing. I've spent some time woodworking. I've spent some time metalworking. So it's kind of all across the board, but it still sits in that maker realm.
I like that, being creative, showing your creative side. Okay.
It's a good time.
Very much so. So tell us, how did you find out about the SFL?
By happenstance, to be honest. There was somebody that I follow on YouTube who made a tweet about being signed to the Nightwings. And I checked it out. I had no idea what I was getting into at the time. And after looking at a couple games from seasons past and jumping into the Discord, I was pretty convinced that at that point I was all in and subbed up.
Fantastic. So what do you remember the very first game that you actually sat down and watched and how it affected you?
Specifically, I don't remember what game. I know that I watched bits and pieces of some games, but I realized really quickly in watching those snippets even, what was going on, and that it was definitely something that I wanted to get involved in. But it was really the community that sold me on it after I got into Discord.
Fantastic. I hear that a lot. I mean, we have, I think, one of the best communities out there. And
Well, I wouldn't argue that with anybody.
yeah, because you can join some communities, you can join some esports leagues, and they could be abrasive, they could be, they could be discriminatory, and this place welcomes everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, your family when you arrive. So that's all.
100%.
What are you trying to fill a tight end position only, or do you have a secondary position that you'd be interested in trying out?
I created myself as a tight end because I've got real life experience in that position. As minimal as it may be, but I do nonetheless. So I felt that would help me build out a more realistic player, at least in my mind. I'm willing to come into a team and help wherever I can. If they want me to convert to a wide receiver, I'm absolutely happy to talk about that. My goal is to again provide to a team what they feel like is best provided.
Okay. And that's respectable, because sometimes you do have to keep an open mind when you are a rookie. And who knows, maybe you get picked up as a tight end, maybe you get picked up as a wide receiver, and it'll be one of the best decisions that you've ever made.
Absolutely. I'm willing to take whatever comes to me here next week.
Awesome. How excited are you about the draft?
Really quite, and what gets me excited too is seeing, the guys in the Memphis locker room talking about it as well, just because we do have a real stacked squad. We've been kind of underrated, I think, and we think for a lot of the season, and a lot of us are really excited to see, players get proven up.
So why do you think that is?
Specifically what?
Why?
That we've been underrated. Our record in the beginning of the season wasn't as strong as some of the other teams, but we've competed with everybody. You look at the playoffs this year, and of the four of us that made it, we were there.
That's right.
And B, two of the teams we had wins against in the regular season. So we were just kind of one of those under the radar teams. While there weren't anybody that nobody really considers a lot of our guys superstars on the field, but together we hammered it out every week.
You did. And, I tried to give everybody as much credit as I could, especially since I do Player of the Week articles and things like that. I try to make it a point to at least try. If you had something that was worth mentioning, I definitely try to get every team involved. Because I know you want to hear your name. You want to see your name, and you want to get recognition for the job that you did do. Progression-wise, were you coached by your coach in progression, or did you do your own progressions?
So in the beginning, pre-minor league season starting, our coaches came to us with a plan that they'd like to see. They ran it by us, because most of us were in the team for the full 11 weeks prior to the season starting. It was here's an 11-week progression plan for your position and what we think will benefit you coming out of the season as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that'll help us in games, and it'll help you in the draft coming up. Obviously it wasn't something that they were like, this is what we want you to do. At any point in time, we felt like another progression, would help the team in that way. Or if that just wasn't something that you were looking to build your player for, they were open to discussing that as well, and they were really receptive to building their game plans around us as well. But I looked at what they had and I really liked it, so I just kind of went with it. Once the season started, however, we were kind of on our own to do how we wanted our player to look. But we were all very communicative in the locker room about, hey guys, I'm thinking about dropping these points here. Do you think that would help the team? And we would all talk amongst ourselves about how we were looking, so that then the coaches were also aware of it and could, game plan around it ahead of time rather than waiting until they saw our progressions come in.
Speaking of the team, what was the locker room like over in Memphis?
Our locker room was solid, to say the least. Everybody's got everybody's back in there. We're talking right now about, how real the end of the season is, and how, much longer we don't have to come in and say, good morning, runners. And we're just all really excited for each other, regardless of what happens. We really are, and I've made tweets about this. In a very short time, that locker room really became a family, really, really fast, and everybody in that room feels the same way.
That's beautiful, and then that's a group of guys that, once you do get drafted, then you'll be able to you have that common bond, to even start off. So
absolutely, and a lot of that too is the fact that that we were an expansion team.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the ones that got that going. From a player perspective, we're the original runners.
All right, original. Oh,
yep.
I like it. So, what value will you bring to someone's team if drafted?
So I think one of the biggest things from a locker room perspective is that I don't have time for the negative. I understand that, everybody's level of competitiveness is different, but I'm not gonna sit and let a locker room potentially get toxic. I'm not going to add to the toxicity in the process, but at the same time, I'm very much a my leadership comes in strong in times of turmoil. I have a tendency to really take a bad situation and bring everybody around it and turn that around into something, positive, or at least, again, back up to a neutral level. Another big thing is that, I'm realistic about what the SFL is, and that it is a sim league, and that the games are in fact determined by an AI system. And I've seen some guys, and I've talked to some guys that didn't quite seem to have the grasp on it that they should. And I bring that level of understanding and realism to what's going on. As far as outside of the locker room, I've really enjoyed running my player Twitter. I enjoy the social media aspect of that. I'm not a big social media guy in my personal life, but I've really taken to it from running it from my players' perspective. I bring some rusty video editing skills to a team. I dusted those off specifically for my season end highlight video that I put out. So I'm the kind of guy that when I am all in on something, I mean that across all facets. If somebody asks me, hey, can you do this? I'm gonna go, let me see what I can do. And they may not like the results, but I went in and attempted to get it done for them.
Which is a beautiful thing, because not everybody has that. Not everybody can count on that either. And that you kind of answered another question I was going to ask you as to how do you handle the trash talk and adversity that sometimes come with the losses,
I mean, trash talk's trash talk. That's fine. I mean, again, a lot of it, I've seen in game chats on both channels where I looked at it and I was like, well, that's a little more intense than it needs to be under the circumstances. But I can let that go. That's fine. I don't, there's so few people in the league right now that I know, on a level that I would consider personal enough to get offended by it. I can let that go. My biggest thing is making sure that my teammates are taken care of. Making sure that when I go into the locker room, if I hear somebody struggling with the outcome of a game or struggling with what something said, being there for them. I'll throw quips around in game chat just like anybody else will, but again, that comes back to I understand what this is.
Yes, definitely. So what are your expectations from the team that won the draft from you? The expectations for a team that I will wind up in is again, I obviously, like everyone, we'd like to see a like-minded, locker room where, when I say that, I don't have time for that kind of negativity, that it's not even anything that I have to think about. There's an understanding that that's going to be everywhere you go, but, from a team management perspective, I think a front office that understands that you've got players that know their player, you've got players that know the system, you've got players that know the league, and you let that be what it is, and then the front office will take care of the front office things, and they'll take care of the locker room things when they need to as well. I like a team that's going to be competitive, but again, that is competitive to the point where they understand that this is a simulation league. I think that would be really the two biggest things that I would like to see, when I do land where I do. Phenomenal. Last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any aspirations to do anything in the league besides be a player? Do you want to do stats, speed writing? Do you want to perhaps be a GM or a coach someday? What are your thoughts?
When I first came in, I was really just interested in being a player. But the more that I've been involved in the league and the more people that I've talked to and the more things that I see the league doing, I start to think about how can I give to that, give back to that. And I come from a journalism background. I would love to be able to write. I haven't thrown myself out there in that regard yet because, again, I've got some more learning to do in the league. I feel like I'd be better prepared to do that as I get a little more experience in the league as a whole. And more recently too, seeing the work that the front office guys for teams put in, especially around the end of the SFLM season, right around draft time. I do have some GM aspirations starting to well up a bit. We'll kind of see where that goes.
And that's fair. When it's your rookie season, you want to kind of sit back, relax, and see how everything flows, how everything goes, and see what you might be interested in and what you're not. And so I totally understand. Just kind of like to gauge that for all the rookies and for all the GMs and owners that take the time out to watch this show. I want to make sure I ask the questions that they would ask you so they can kind of, know whether they want you on the team or not anyway. So. And
that's why we appreciate what you do.
Oh, anytime, man, anytime. Besides that, I do love to get to know people, and we have a lot of great people in our community. As we were talking about that before I started, it seems like when you join, it's an instant feeling of family, and I can appreciate that. So,
it really is.
Jason, it was wonderful talking to you, and I wish you the best in the draft. I will be doing round 2, so I'll be looking, forward to, if you haven't been chosen already, being there when you get chosen, things like that. But do you want to, let me see. Do you have any questions for me first?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank you so much again being on the show, but I cannot let you leave without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. Right now, the floor is yours.
I'm going to go with a shout out. The River Runners know how we all feel about each other. I want to make sure that they all know that we are River Runners for life. We are River Runners #1, and make sure you guys stay in contact with each other.
Beautiful. I love it, Jason. Thank you so much for your time.
Ashley, thank you for having me on.
You are very welcome. And listen, come back whenever you want to. If you feel like you just want to come back and share with me, I'm definitely here for you. I love to talk to the rookies after they've been chosen, and even throughout the season to see how you're enjoying everything. So feel free to come back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, more rookies. And I have my friend, Mr. David Leathers here. Strong safety for the Annapolis Navigators. How you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's a snowy day here in Madison, Wisconsin, so I'm just hanging out inside and watching some NFL.
Oh man, all right. Well, you said snowy day. Is it like blizzard snow, or is it like just kind of sprinkle snow?
Yeah, so we had a blizzard yesterday, basically, and so today is just snow. Snow covered everywhere. Basically.
It's crazy how it just changes because, like, right now down here it's about 60 degrees in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So we'll send some of that warm air your way. Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Awesome. So do me a favor. This is your first time on my show. Welcome, and I want to get to know you a little bit. So, what is your real name, if you feel comfortable giving that, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team?
All right, so my real name is the same as in the Discord, SFL Discord, or just SFL in general. It's just David Leathers. I'm 34 years old. My hometown is Cleveland, Ohio. I obviously don't live there anymore, but a lot of family back there still. I moved around a bit. I guess that's an interesting fact about me. My stepdad is a math professor, so I grew up in college towns, like Ohio State, Iowa State, and then he teaches at the university here now. So I've hopped around a bit in the Midwest. My favorite NFL team is the Browns, just being a Cleveland guy. And I know you're a Bears fan, so please don't hate me, but I did kind of have to adopt the Packers a little bit since I live, since I live in Wisconsin now. But the Browns are still number one in my heart.
Well, there you go. See, I understand. That was kind of like that was just something that you had to roll with since you're in Wisconsin. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. To me, I see the Bears and the Packers as kind of like peanut butter and jelly, they go hand in hand kind of thing. So.
Oh man, I love it. So tell me, how did you find out about the league?
Yeah, so because of the pandemic, I think I've been going on Twitch more often. I haven't really been able to do as much, outside as I might typically. So I've been on Twitch more, and the league is, does games on Twitch. So I saw one of the SFLM games one day, just one of my recommended channels. I started watching, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I went on the website, looked on some of the YouTube videos and stuff, and decided it's something I wanted to join up, be a part of.
Phenomenal. Have you ever played sports yourself?
I did, yeah. Growing up, I played all kinds of sports. Not just football, basketball. I ran track. I played lacrosse. I dabbled in a little bit of everything, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. It's good to stay active.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, about the game, do you remember any of the game, like the very first game that you watched, and how it affected you?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly who the teams were. Like I said, it was this season, one of the SFLM games, and I could feel the passion that like the broadcasters had for the game as they're doing it, and the people in the chat that were watching it, had their players, and that's kind of what made me really interested to join up. Is just I could see how much people really liked this. So.
Okay, beautiful. Now, what did you think about being on the Annapolis Navigators?
Oh, it's been an amazing experience so far. I joined late in the season, so I've played just one game so far. But I just have to give a big shout out to everyone on Annapolis, my coach Griffin King, Guy Clausen, Baylee, Oshannessy. I'm not going to name the whole roster, but all the guys. The game we played didn't go how we wanted. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs, but it was my first game, so that's always special. And like I said, that experience made me think I made the right decision joining this league. It made me want to continue. So.
Yeah, well, I know Baylee had nothing but good things to say about all of you guys. I actually have him on this show too, so. That's awesome. Yeah, it definitely seemed like a good group, and made me a little sad. I wasn't able to be there for the full season, but Yeah, definitely. I understand that. So you are a strong safety.
That's right.
Is there a particular reason why you chose that position? And if you're not selected as a strong safety, is there any other position that you'd be willing to play?
Yeah, so when I was looking at making a player, it came down for me between linebacker and strong safety, or free safety, I guess, linebacker, safety. Those are positions I used to enjoy playing when I did play football back in the day, and positions that I understand well. I was kind of between the two. When I looked at how many of each position was in the SFLM, there was less safety, so that's kind of why I ended up picking that. It just seemed like a fill a need. And as far as being willing to play other positions, I'm definitely happy to switch around if I'm not drafted at strong safety. I could play free safety, linebacker, cornerback, potentially. So I'm open.
Good. Our teams want to hear that. Speaking of being open, are you open to maybe joining any of the stats team or broadcast team, or maybe being a GM or a coach someday? Do you have any further aspirations?
I'd absolutely love to try my hand at broadcasting or potentially scouting. I'm pretty familiar just from having played video games so long. Like I know a lot of the formations already, so it might lend itself well to something like that. But yeah, the broadcasting too, it looks really fun. Something I like to try anyways.
Okay, good. Well, just make sure you contact Mike Daggs as soon as possible. He will definitely hook you up with that. And so, what values do you bring to a team?
say that I bring a very good work ethic in terms of just I'm not going to miss any progressions. I'm always going to, progress every week. I'm fully committed to improving whatever team, the secondary defense, whatever team I end up on, I'm committed to helping improve that team. And I bring a positive attitude, like positive laid back attitude. I'm not one to talk a lot of trash or, cause a ruckus, anything of that nature. So I definitely could bring that, just being a calming, good influence on the team overall as well.
So how do you handle it when someone does that to you, though? When someone trash talks you or the team, or let's say you're down, and how do you handle the adversity that sometimes comes with losing?
That's right. Well, and I had to laugh because I saw I don't know if it was an interview with you or a different interview that Commissioner Cam said, we made this league, we want to hurt you, basically, like losing is part, and I know just from playing a lot of sports in the past, like that is absolutely, losing is part of sports. You're not going to win every game, not even Michael Jordan won every game. So,
True.
I think dealing with losing is something that everybody, if they're going to play sports on any level, you have to be good at dealing with that. And, not getting too high when the team's doing well, not getting too high off of that. And conversely, when the team's not performing that well, you also don't want to get too low. It's about finding a good balance, I think.
Right, be an even kill. I got you.
Even kill, yep.
So what are your expectations from the team that drafts you?
It's hard to say a little bit because this is my first. It's not just my first time in the SFL. This is my first time playing any kind of simulation sports. So it's definitely a new experience. But as far as just general expectations, I would expect that they would help me to know how to progress my player well, be able to put everyone on the team in positions to perform to the best of their abilities, and hopefully generate some wins for the team. But yeah, and like I said before, maintaining like a good locker room, positive locker room. That would something that I would really be looking for in whatever team I go to. So
okay, describe the Annapolis Navigators locker room.
It's really good. Like I was saying, coach was really helpful for me. And they understand that a lot of people who join up are new, and he was helping me know how to progress my guy, which I thought was great. I used all his suggestions so far, and like I said, everyone on the team was really positive and reminding people to do the progressions, which I think is great. Sometimes people might not be some people might not be on as much as others. So it was, like I said, it was great.
Awesome, because you actually answered my next question I was going to ask you as far as the progression of your player. If you were instrumental in that, or if you actually had one hand in hand with your coaches. So that's awesome that they helped you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being new, I'm totally happy to defer to whatever, coaches think might be best. You can look and see, obviously, some of the other players in the league, like, what their builds look like and, how that might translate into stats. But absolutely, I think it's always good to trust the coaches, especially for rookies.
Okay, and one last question for you. Do you think that there's anything that the SFL can do a little bit better? Or if we're good, then you can say that too. But as far as the rookie process, was there something that you would like to see kind of change, or do you think that everything we did was good?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I feel like I maybe don't have quite enough experience yet to give like a really good answer to that. So maybe I'll pass on that. And if I go through another SFLM season, right? Maybe then I answer this question for you after next go around.
That's fair. I'll accept that. Well, David, it was a pleasure having you on the show, and I really appreciate all of your time. It was wonderful. Before I let you go, though, I have to give you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or a simple shout out. Right now, the floor is yours.
That sounds good. Well, I've watched a couple of your shows before, and I hadn't seen anyone do poems yet. So I brought a couple short haikus, which I can read real quick.
I love haikus. Awesome.
They're football related, so.
Cool.
All right, so the first one goes, A fall trumpet plays, a solo as summer ends and football begins.
Okay. Like that.
And it goes hand in hand with the second one, which is a chilly and crisp air signals the beginning of an awesome season. And I just thought those were timely with we're about to have the draft and the next season's coming up. Everyone always is excited for the new season, so.
That was dope. I love it. Did you write that?
Oh no, I just looked them up. It would have been better. It would have been better if I wrote them. Maybe if you have me on again, maybe I'll write one next time.
So, everybody remember this. Y'all heard him say that. He has me on another one that he's gonna write.
I will write a haiku for our next interview.
So what I do like to do for my rookies, when you do get drafted or during the course of the season, I like to kind of check back on you, make sure everything's good, make sure you're enjoying yourself, and getting your take on the league from the major league side of things. So I wish you the best of luck in the draft and everything, dear.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you again for having me on. I just have one last shout out. I'm from Ohio, and my home state, Columbus Crew, won the Major League Soccer championship last night. So I thank you. I have to give a shout out to the Crew. 2 years ago they were talking about moving the team to Texas actually, and it looked like we weren't going to have a team anymore. So just the fact that we not only they're able to keep the team, but they won the championship and have a new stadium they're building next season. It's crazy. So
awesome. Before I let you go, I meant to ask you, did you have any questions for me?
I do. So I was watching one of your previous interviews, and you guys were talking about the Vice Wars rivalry.
Vice Wars, yes.
And yeah, can you tell me a little about that? I know that there's some different colored jerseys involved, but there's just a question I had, and I thought maybe some of the other rookies might be interested to learn about that too.
Awesome. Vice Wars is basically games that are taking place between Denver and Las Vegas. Denver, and it have you ever seen Miami Vice? Okay, so it's
I have.
kind of based on that. I don't know if you got a chance to check out the very last game on YouTube that Vice Wars did, but it's like a rivalry game. And these two teams, every time they play each other, it's usually a very close game. It's their graphics made. It's just kind of spurred out of the moment, And basically, it's just a rivalry game that everybody loves, and they do a great job with everything. But yeah, check it out on YouTube on the Simulation Football League's YouTube page. It should be like it's Las Vegas taking on Denver, and every time they do, it's always a big deal.
That's so cool. Well, I think rivalries are big. I think it gets a lot of people involved. Just like the Bears Packers, or there's so many rivalries. But yeah, I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, like me and Cam, we have our own little rivalry going every time we see each other. I love them, but every time we talk about football, it's on. yeah, right. Was that all the questions that you had for me?
Yeah, no, I think so. But like I said, I love to come on again,
Please.
Sometime in the future. That'd be great.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome. And if you have any questions, like about anything, you have my DM, just go ahead and ask me and I'll be happy to answer. You have a good one, okay?
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, you too. Take care.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight's guest, or today, I should say, guest is Mr. Baylee Oshannessy of the Annapolis Navigators. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So glad to have you on. I know our schedules is kind of, all over the place for a minute.
It is what it is.
It is. All right, Mr. Running Back. Looks like you had a fantastic season, but before we get into that, I would love to know some information about you. So, give us your real name, if you want to, and your age, hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Okay, so my real name is Sean Baylee, which may give a little bit of a hint into the Baylee Oshannessy.
Mm-hmm.
I am 41 years old. I am just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. And interesting fact about myself, which you can kind of tell possibly from my backdrop, is I'm a choir director for high school. And I also teach other music things around. I have a music recording and engineering class too that I teach. I guess my favorite football team is the Denver Broncos. As you can see, haven't had the best years, but it's all right. That's pretty much it for me on that.
Okay, well, listen. Now we have to talk about your name for a second.
Okay.
Because I have butchered your name many a times on this show, and I just want to come to you and apologize. But how did you come up with your player name besides it being
It was just that it was a play on my name, and I wanted it to be a good Irish sounding name. And then there was just a little bit of me wanting to make people have to say it. And so I'll admit that. My apologies to all the commentators and everybody else. It was a little bit of something I got enjoyment out of when people completely butchered the name. I just had a good time. So I do appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Well, you're very welcome. Because you've been Oshannessy, you've been Oshannessy. It's just well, good deal. So tell us, how did you find this? How did you find out about the SFL?
Well, that's actually really simple. I was looking through YouTube and came up with my suggestions. The season 12 championship was Denver versus Alaska, right? And that was a heck of a game in the snow, and I was amazed that this actually existed, because you see some of the things about simulation football and they're not really involved in it. The other things are on the web, and the fact that I got in there and sort of looked around and saw that I could actually progress my player and things like that, I had to do it. I had to be part of it. So,
well, I'm glad you did. Have you played sports yourself?
Actually, I played a lot of baseball when I was younger. I was way too small for football, wanted to do it. I ran track. I was a sprinter for the track team. So I did athletic things and I did play baseball, but I never got to play football. So.
Okay. Well, is that why you chose to be a running back? Because you're fast on your feet? Okay, I like that. So give us an overview of how you think your season went with the Annapolis Navigators.
Well, I really enjoyed the whole season, everything about it. The games were fun, of course, but I think what I enjoyed the most was the talking with everybody in the locker room. I enjoyed the people, and that was probably the biggest part to me. The season itself, watching the games, that's only a part of the equation, and I hope that people understand that, like, if they're thinking about becoming part of this, the people that you meet and you get to know throughout the season in your locker room, in the chats, is just really great. And I think that's what I took away from it. Of course, it's fun to see your player do what they do, and it's fun to progress things. I love doing that. I have a spreadsheet for my guy and everything else. But at the end of the day, it's the people like Guy Clausen and Josh Gill and all those people that I got to hang with and talk with that really made the whole thing special.
And that's amazing, because you never know where your next friend is going to be, because this is a place where you can come and we are all different. We all come from different walks of life and things like that. And then you find commonality when you look at shows like this, or when you actually take the time out to talk to somebody. You come out gaining a lot more than you came in with. So
Absolutely.
Looking at your stats, though, you did pretty good this season. You had 186 carries, 873 yards, 6 touchdowns. Kudos. You had 41 receptions, 1 reception touchdown, and 125 yards. So, and that 1 fumble. Well, we don't have. But tell me, who helped you with the progression of your player? Is this something that you totally did, or did you get with the coaches on that, or?
Absolutely have to give props to Coach King. So I had some ideas of my own, but everything, we went back and forth. We talked a lot in the background about where we thought things should be. And I definitely punched above my weight a little bit, but at the same point in time, I didn't get it done sometimes when it mattered. And so it's like, you got some unfinished business, and I wish I could have helped my team out a little bit better in the end, but it just worked out the way it did. Many thanks to Coach King, though, and all the help he gave me.
Fantastic. So, do you have any aspirations to be anything else besides a player? Do you want to join? Do you want to maybe be a GM or a coach, or do you want to be a broadcaster or statistician?
All the upper staff, I think that's with all the stuff I'm doing with my job, of course, I think that might be a little bit too much on time. Those guys put in so much, and we appreciate them very much. I have talked to people about being interested in possibly doing some statistics and scouting. I've talked to some people about more readily possibly doing some writing. And doing some of the things like that. I'm interested in possibly doing some beat writing, hoping that might pan out and that type of thing, just to be involved.
Please do. I'm on the beat writing team, so we would love to have you in, get some fresh new ideas and articles out there for the website. It'd be great to have you. So what made you want to be, just going back to you personally, what made you want to be a teacher?
I became a teacher because of the people that taught me. I love everything about what I do in terms of it being music, of course, but I knew, because I went straight from undergrad into grad school, got my master's degree, and I was trying to teach and tell everybody every single day that I just wanted to be a teacher, and they didn't understand that because I was with a whole bunch of performers as a musician, and I just have this love for being able to impart the information to my students. And I had so many people that inspired me to move on to bigger and better things that I wanted to hopefully be that voice at a very important age, which is this high school age. And so my goal is just to brighten their days right now with this whole remote learning stuff and all the other stuff that's going on, and to hopefully keep them interested, keep them going. And when we can finally be back together every single time that we get to do that, we sing, we have good times, and hopefully we inspire some more to move forward in something that they love.
Wonderful. That's amazing. What are your expectations from the team that drafts you? Because I'm sure you'll be drafted.
Well, I hope to be drafted, and I understand the hard thing about being a running back in this league is that there's very few people that are really looking for one right now, and that's okay, and I understand that. My expectations, if I were to get drafted, would be just to hopefully have a great locker room and communication from everybody. As I said, the culture was really kind of what got me and kept me hooked, was that. And even though I wasn't always around sometimes because things have been really busy with school and everything changing, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So my hope would be that I would, of course, have a great locker room, a coach that's willing to help me out, because I will ask questions, because I want to do the best I can for the team. And so whatever we need to go with progressions, if it be an animation we want to go for, or whatever else as we go on to that, if it's there. If it ends up being the SFLM one more time, then we'll just keep on building this player and make it something that they can't pass up next time. Okay, because that was going to allude to my next question. If you were not selected as running back, would you be willing to play another position, or would you just prefer to go back to the minors? That's a difficult question for me a little bit. I'm always willing to help the team. Like if somebody wants to take me and they need me someplace else, I'm more than happy to help, whatever for the team, right? The experience is the experience. I love being a running back. It is enjoyable for me. So if I ended up back in the SFLM, I would stick as being a running back, and I would just continue Baylee going on to being bigger and better. Okay, and that's respectable, because, hey, you're paying your subscription money to be the player that you want to be. So, I respect that a lot. But tell me, what type of player or what type of person would someone be adding to their locker room if they picked you up? Someone that is definitely going to be looking out for everybody. Right. I care about people. Like my entire day all the time is caring about these students and talking to them and making sure they're okay. And I'm somebody that is wanting to be in the conversation, and I'll check in with people if I haven't heard from them for a while, that type of thing. And so they're going to get a person that cares about the people that are around them. I'm not just there to do this thing. and that's who I am. And I think that can be the expectation as me as a person.
Okay, that's good stuff. Good stuff. So, do you have any opinions on something that maybe the league could do a little bit better or differently for the rookies that are coming in? Do you have any input on that, or that you noticed?
I think that there is a ton of knowledge that as the season goes on gets disseminated by the veterans and stuff like that. I think that it was great to learn it when I did, and I didn't think there was any problem with that. I think more information about how the draft process works, rather than just kind of hearing it word of mouth kind of. And when you can be in the chat, if you happen to be in the chat at that point in time, the chats are active all day long, and you can miss something if you're not there for that hour. And so I think for a rookie, and understanding how the draft works and understanding what people are really kind of looking for in the league, there was a big thing about stats versus the person and activity and things at one point. I think that type of information being up front might be helpful to some people. Again, I didn't have any problem with the way it was, but it seemed to at times come up as conversation. And so that's the only thing that I can think of that people might appreciate.
Okay, that's good stuff, and we appreciate that for you even, giving us that input on how to make everything better, a little bit better for everyone. How do you handle the trash talk and adversity? So your team is down, you got somebody in your ear talking all of this. How do you handle it?
I handled that the last game.
Okay.
I'm the cool and calm and whatever happens guy. I'm just I'm like, you can go ahead and say it, but if they get more and more into things, if it gets more intense, I had a pretty good season as a running back, and so I pointed to some numbers.
Stats, man. See, I like it. You can just go with the stats. You can't lie with that. Okay, that's good stuff. Well, it was a pleasure, definitely a pleasure having you here with me. I take enjoyment in meeting people, keeping up with people like you. Caring for people, things like that. So if you need any advice, if you need any help from me, or have any questions, I'm definitely here. Speaking of which, do you have any questions for me while we're on?
I don't at this time. I think that this is the coolest thing about the SFL is all of the extra things that people have created, Axis and you, and just all the people that do the extra content and the time and the care. We just appreciate you. Know that. I'm sure you can sense that, and all the other people that create the content to make this an interesting place all the time. So thank you.
It was a long time coming. For a while, we only had one podcast, and we had the beat team writing, but I've noticed over the course of the years and seasons that people do want to contribute more, and they want to get their name and their voice out there, and even get the league, most importantly, out there, which is, while we're successful as we are, because of the word of mouth, because of the things that we do. And if you want to come, and I'm talking to you and I'm talking to anybody that's watching this, you want to come and be a part of anything, we have it for you. And I love the fact that, and I say this all the time, that you can pretty much be anything that you aspire to be here. If you wanted to ever try broadcasting, do it here. Because, why not, right? If you wanted to write articles, if you wanted to try out podcasting, see if you actually like it, do it here. And you never know where it'll take you. So, yeah. But Baylee, thank you so much. I know you're at work and I appreciate your time. I invite you to come back on whenever you want to, probably after you get drafted or and during the course of the season. I love to keep up with everybody, get their thoughts, opinions on how things are going. So love to have you back.
All right. I'd love to be back. Thank you.
Before I let you go, I have to give you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that could be a simple shout out. And since you're a choir director, you might as well go ahead and give me a song. I mean,
Oh gosh, I need to all right, let's. I know not everybody celebrates. All right, but this is just for all those in the holiday season. So, have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your hearts be light. From now on, your troubles will be out of sight. There you go.
oh, I love it. Oh, that was great. Yeah, you're good at what you do. Trust me.
Thank you. I paid a lot of money to a lot of great teachers for that.
Well, money well spent. And I heard the vibrato at the end too. I like it. See, look at you. Thank you. That was a treat. That was a joy. And come back on whenever you want.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.